All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about something most of us do without even thinking, but it's a choice that could literally cost you over $1 million. Yep, I'm talking about your car payment.
I mean, just think about that for a second. That brand new car sitting in your driveway, the one that feels like a symbol of success. What if it's the very thing that's quietly draining your financial future? Let's peel back the layers and see what that really costs.
Okay, so look at this number, $1.2 million. Now, that's not a lottery ticket, no. According to the research we're digging into, that is what an average car payment could turn into if you just invested it instead. That's not a typo. Over $1 million. Just gone. For the privilege of driving to work. So how on earth is that even possible? Well, it all boils down to one simple but super powerful idea: the hidden cost of pouring your hard-earned cash into something called a depreciating asset. And you know what? A new car is pretty much the king of depreciating assets. So here's the deal. Every dollar you have can go down one of two roads. The first road, that's the asset road. Your money grows, it works for you, it builds your wealth for the future. The other road, well, that's the liability road. It's a dead end that just drains your money away. A new car, with the payments, the insurance, the repairs, and the fact it loses value the second you drive it off the lot, it's the poster child for a liability. And this is a key insight from our source material that really hits home. It gets into the why we make this choice. It's a trade-off, plain and simple. We're often swapping actual, long-term financial security for the feeling of short-term status. We're picking the liability because it looks good today. You know, the real engine of wealth building is something called compound interest. It's basically magic. It's where your money starts making its own money. But here's the kicker. When you finance a car, you're on the wrong side of that magic. You're not earning interest, you're paying it. You're actively working against the single most powerful force for building wealth. And this chart, wow, it shows you just how fast these two different paths split apart. In just 5 years, the difference is already huge. The car's value, it's taken a nosedive, but the money that was invested instead, it's already climbing. It's the perfect picture of one path leading down and the other leading straight up.
Okay, so if it's so obvious, why doesn't everybody just invest their money instead of buying a fancy car? Well, because the beginning is tough. It is painfully slow. Our sources have a name for it. They call it the accumulation plateau. And honestly, this is where most people get discouraged and just quit.
And this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? That feeling when you start investing. And for the first few years, it feels like nothing is happening. You look at your account and it's barely budged. It's so easy to think, what's the point? And that feeling, right there, that boring stretch, that's where most people just threw in the towel. But what if there was a roadmap for this exact part of the journey? So how do you get through that plateau? Well, the material we're looking at offers a really cool framework to help you navigate it. It's called the 7-5-3-1 rule, and you can think of it like your GPS for staying on track when things feel slow.
Let's break it down real quick. The 7 stands for the average number of years it takes for your investment to double. The 5 is for spreading your money across 5 different asset classes, to keep things safe. The 3 is about preparing for the 3 big emotional traps that trip people up. And the 1? That one's my favorite. It represents the idea that just one yearly increase to what you're saving can have a massive impact down the line. And the rule is super specific about these 3 emotions for a reason. They're the big ones, the ones that wreck financial plans. You've got impatience when things are boring and slow. You've got fear when the market dips. And you've got greed when things are going almost too well. Just knowing to expect these feelings is like half the battle won. Okay, so now let's put it all together. We have these 2 huge ideas from our sources. We have the problem, right? The car payment liability, and we have a solution, the 7-5-3-1 rule. So, how do they fit together? This chart just lays it all out, and honestly, it's kind of brutal. Let's look at 2 people. Person A, the commuter, finances a car. 7 years later, remember that's our first doubling period? What do they have? A used car that's worth a fraction of what they paid. Now, person B, the investor, took that exact same money and invested it. In 7 years, their portfolio has potentially doubled. Now let's jump forward 30 years. The commuter has nothing. The investor is sitting on a 7-figure pile of cash. It's the same money, just a different choice. So here's the bottom line. It's a 2-part system. The fiscal discipline, saying no to that big car payment, that's the fuel for your journey. It's the money you need to get started.
but fuel with no destination is just wasted. The 7531 rule, that's the map. That's what tells you where to go and how to get there.
And that really brings us to the big takeaway here. Look, the car payment is just a really powerful example. But now I want you to think about your life. Take a hard look at your own budget and ask yourself this one question. What liability in my life, what thing am I paying for every single month that's just losing me money, could I turn into my greatest asset? Seriously think about it. Because finding the answer to that question, well, that could change absolutely everything for you.